Okay.
It's Saturday morning on 21.6 The Net. Bless you.
Thank you. Ooh, I've been sneezing all week.
And the joy of live radio. And of course, you've got uh, the Metaphysical Meanderings with Master Psychic Lana Duncan Hartgraves. And, this show is brought to you through the financial support of X-Tech LLC, 815-516-8075. They provide device repair, service plans, business servers, and single computer support. Check them out at xtech.repair. Today, Mercury is way
in retrograde. Hey, I was just you're the advertiser is who we need to be have in here right now, right?
That's right.
We were having lots of electronic problems, and we just have been. It's just been crazy. So, yeah, I'm going to talk about Mercury in retrograde because, like, if anybody doesn't know what it is, well, we're in it, and that's why everything's so crazy. So, I know that I did some readings last night, and like one of the things in Mercury retrograde is people have a tendency to kind of come back to you. And I was reading for a woman, and she goes, I haven't seen this guy in like 5 years, and he came back, and blah blah blah. And I go, because Mercury's in retrograde. And she goes, what? And I'm like, you don't know what Mercury in retrograde is? I'm like, it only happens 3 times a year, you guys, so that you know that it's funky. Okay. What it is Mercury goes. Okay, everything goes right from west, like it rises in the east, sets in the west.
Yeah.
Well, when Mercury's in retrograde, it looks like in the sky it goes opposite, and you literally can see it, and you're like, it's just a mind game. It's a little bit of an eye, a trompe l'oeil, fool the eye. So, and so, lots of things bad. It can be bad. It can be good though. Because I've had my Mercury in retrograde when it was in Sagittarius, and that is my sign. I had a great Mercury in retrograde. So if you think about it, it could be bad or good, depending on what kind of energy you got. So, okay.
Do you want to share what made it great? No, maybe not.
What?
Do you want to share what made it great?
You know what? I just had great. I just like
everything rolled your way.
Yeah, everything went my way. Everything's actually going my way right now, but the thing is that it's electronics. I've had so many problems with electronics.
True. Yeah.
And that is so true right now. I mean, every time I turn around, there's something that didn't go on my videos right, or something screwed up. So, yeah. So what it is that we have a tendency to revisit things. This gives you a time for a reflection. It only lasts for about 6 weeks or so. Right now, we're in the middle of it. It started October 14th. Now, I want to say it started earlier that for me. I don't know if you knew, but I would say about the 4th of October for me. Sometimes you pick up energy the week before and the week after. So, I don't know. And they said that Sagittarius... It's in Scorpio right now, so it goes to different signs. Okay, Emma says it's true. My phone stopped working for no reason. See, I'm telling you, it just, and then all of a sudden we're out of Mercury in retrograde, and then everything's okay, and you're like, what happened? I mean, what? Yeah, just crazy. And so, anyway, it happens 3 times a year, so. You can feel it a week or so before, a week, after. I find it interesting that there's an election going on in the middle of Mercury in retrograde. I find that really, really interesting. So let's see and wait for all the polls to come in because, yeah, very interesting because it comes out of retrograde on voting day, which is a very interesting thing. So it goes direct, and so. But there's usually a little bit of energy after, so hopefully nothing will go really badly on that. So, okay. it only I told you it only happens 3 times a year, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So and for about 6 weeks, right? Okay. This is some of the stuff like that you could be going through, because I know I can tell you all kinds of stories. If you can try not to get a review from your boss during Mercury in retrograde, you should really try that, because if trust me, I've gotten mine in Mercury in retrograde and it wasn't such a hot review, so I was always really upset. And then when it's not in retrograde, it was fine. It's kind of, I don't know. All I know is that your key problem is communication. That's and see, computers, it's a form of communication, and that's what this whole thing is about. It's about communication. Okay, so these are the things that might be happening for you. So tell me if I'm right, guys out there, because I know that when it's in Mercury retrograde, I want to hide, because I know it is, and I'm just like, and that's funny because Kent said to me, he goes, this stupid computer, Mercury's in retrograde, and I go, hey, that's my show today, man. I know, cool, So sometimes you have miscommunication and confusion. You have to be very careful what you say and do, because everybody's going to take it wrong. Yeah, it's kind of like texting. You know how you're texting and you can take it like 8 different ways, and then you have a big fight with somebody because they took it wrong? Mm-hmm. It's kind of like that through all of Mercury in retrograde. So, other things you have to do, triple check everything, all your texts, all your papers, everything, triple check it, because it's going to be screwed up, okay? And you have to be really, really careful to explain your intentions, all right? You're going to have a lot of Freudian slips, like mouth slips. Happens. Trust me, this is real. I don't think anybody realizes how real all of this, the zodiac stuff is, until you really pay attention. Because I bet you I didn't know what Mercury in retrograde was until not even 10 years ago. I would say maybe 6 or 7 years ago. And somebody told me about it and said, pay attention and see if I'm not right. And you know what? I'm sorry, it's really true. All this is true. So, you're going to have massive technology gadgets and issues. Don't buy any new gadgets if you can help it, because things aren't going to want to work. Your computer, your phone, you're going to have lots of problems with that. Okay. Try not to travel. So there'll be cancellations, delays, all kinds of funky things happening. So they tell you not to, if you can. I mean, you can't. Happens 3 times a year for 6 weeks, so you almost can't get around it, and you just have to go about your life. But
just be patient and understand.
Yes, yeah. It's a Mercury.
Don't get upset.
And yes, exactly. More people that I know, I'm talking to a lot of people, and a lot of people are talking about Mercury in retrograde. So, people from your past will return, old relationships. Me personally, I have a tendency to think about things like from years and years and years ago. Like, he wronged me when I was 5. He took my lunchbox from me, and I kid you not, I do that. And in my mind, while I'm asleep, I'll wake up and go, I remember that now. It's kind of like, it's also supposed to promote healing, okay? So it's revisiting things so that you can deal with it and process it and heal it. So it's kind of a couple of things going on, okay? You can sometimes become nostalgic, thinking, once you're out of, it's kind of like this. Our brains are trained to always try to think the positive, or the negative, depending on how you're looking at it. Like, you could be in a really crappy job, and you hate the job, and a lot of times then when you're out of the job, you'll be nostalgic. Oh, I remember that wasn't that bad, and it creates something in your mind. So this is a time to go through that and kind of clear it, kind of get rid of some of it. Okay. Try not to get your review. Avoid any paperwork if you can. Don't sign any kind of mortgages. I know I'm cutting in. Sorry. Don't sign paperwork. Don't sign mortgages for 6 weeks. Right. I had a lot of people that asked me last night that they they were talking to me about buying a house. And I said, well, don't buy it for another 3 weeks or so. And they're like, well, what do you mean? I said, because Mercury's in retrograde. And they're like, well, what do you mean? I go, you don't know what Mercury in retrograde is? And they're like, no. And I had to explain all of this to them. So, what kind of experience have you had, Kent, in Mercury in retrograde?
Well, Jen says Mercury in retrograde. Video to today's show keeps giving me the spinny wheel.
See, I'm telling you, it's
Yeah.
just you pay attention to this, the cycles. The Farmer's Almanac, like they do planting cycles around Mercury in retrograde even.
Yeah.
So there's something to it, and I there's something to do with the farming and everything. You know,
Well, yeah, I mean, for me, of course, I'm in front of screens every day, right, and all day. And I swear to God, of course, we rely on them and the
Yeah.
people who have programmed them to run things. So a lot of what I do, I'm looking for ratios, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
maybe a debt to income ratio or
Uh-huh.
something like that. And it doesn't calculate out correctly.
oh
So
yeah,
I've literally had to call
Yeah, okay.
IT and say, hey, what, is there something wrong? Am I doing something wrong? No, it doesn't look like you're doing anything. Why isn't this calculating
yeah, exactly,
properly?
exactly.
So yeah, all month.
And then when November comes, it's gone.
I hope so.
Yeah, I know, I get it. So I used to not be a big person in the zodiac, and I'm going to tell you guys that seriously. But the more I understand everything, that there's got to be a lot of truth to it, because I can meet people and pick out their signs. I bet you're a Leo, and they're like, how'd you do that? I said, because it's the way you behave. You know, I like
Yeah.
the way you are, the way you're presenting yourself to me, and people are like, oh, I don't get it. There's a snapshot in time. I always like saying it's a pseudoscience, but they have to understand it's time. Time. I mean, this. I don't care what anybody says. There's truth to it, and all the religions knew about it. They didn't always talk about it a whole lot, but if you look at it's even biblical to a certain point, because you see it mentioned. And I mean, who are the people that went to find Jesus? They were people who studied the stars. They were
Yeah.
astronomers and astrologers. I mean,
Yeah. The wise men.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
Follow the stars. Is what
exactly. The more I get into this, it's just fascinating, because you have to understand also, Mercury in retrograde is in Scorpio. So either in Scorpio, and if you have a Scorpio rising, moon, or sun, you have probably either a really good Mercury in retrograde or a really bad Mercury in retrograde. Now, Scorpio is the sign right in front of me. I was told it would be very difficult for me. So far, except for this stuff, we were having trouble this morning. You just don't even know. We were having a lot of trouble this
Last
morning.
2 weeks.
Yes. Well, next week, hopefully it'll be better.
That's right.
Anyway, you either should be bad or really good. And like I said, my Mercury in retrograde for Sagittarius was really, really good the last time I had it. I'm gonna wait. I guess I got like another week and a half. So
Knock on wood.
yeah. It's interesting that it's coming in a full moon. It's just interesting.
That's a big moon out there.
Yes, yeah, full moon. It's coming during the middle of Halloween, during All Saints Day, and an election, and it's all coming for Mercury in retrograde, which is so things are revisited. I mean, if you think about it, and it's almost like it's a cycle, a pattern of cycles. So now, Mercury in retrograde for me doesn't really affect my psychic ability. I don't really have too much, but I will tell you that next week it's on Halloween. We're gonna be telling ghost stories, because I've got all kinds of pictures. I got stuff I'm gonna show you guys, because I stuff when I clean houses and stuff. And by the way, off the subject just a little bit, if you look on my YouTube channel, on the Aries financial and career, you'll see an orb, and it goes right
It's
over
huge.
my.
It wasn't
I know.
gold either.
I
It
know.
was big.
I know. Well, I think it was an angel. I keep saying it was an angel.
Yeah.
So, and it's clear, because usually a clear one, I've been told are angels. Like, I pick up a lot of green, like when I'm doing pictures, and I'm going to show you guys, I get tons of green ribbon energy, and I'm told that those are nature based, and so I get them outside. So, but this one was clear, and it's almost like
Pe-
like, yeah.
Pete had one yesterday morning.
Yeah.
So if you go to our page and
Mhm.
check out Uncle Pete in the morning for Friday, right around 7 a.m.,
Mhm.
as he was kind of winding down, he saw it on screen,
Oh,
right?
cool.
So he
Okay.
didn't see it to his left, so you
Uh-huh.
might be able to catch it there too.
Oh, that's
Very
cool.
interesting.
That's cool. That's cool. Okay. Yeah, that's like the second or third time now I've caught something. So, and people are like, they like to watch it. They just are like, and I saw it. If you
Yeah.
look me on the tape, I saw something. I
Yes,
looked
you
up,
did.
and I'm like, and I know I saw it. And I saw it through it, like the corner of my,
It
like
was
that
big,
way.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was neat.
So, anyway, so I know that my psychic ability isn't really affected by Mercury in retrograde, but I will tell you, with it being near Halloween, I usually can't turn my ability off. I don't. There's something to that Halloween thing, you guys. If any of you guys are psychics out there or have abilities, tell hit me up, because I think I'm right. I can't turn it off. Normally I can turn my ability off because I'm a school teacher. I see so many people during the day, and I have to be able to turn it off. But where during Halloween, the week before and the week after, I I can't, and I still think that that there's something special in the ethers on October 31st. That's why it's celebrated then.
Sure.
I really think that there's something to it. I just don't get it. So, um, anyway, I was told that it was mostly fire signs that were going to have trouble with Mercury in retrograde. So the Aries, the Aries, Leo, and Sag. I haven't had any trouble so far. Have you? I mean, besides,
I'm a water guy, right?
I know
So
you're Cancer, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
Um,
And I'm excited about November.
yes. Yeah.
From the cards that you read.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Yeah.
On my cards, yeah. Well, you've been wanting that to happen, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah, I just lay them, and anybody knows me that I'm online, and I don't need tarot cards. I'm a medium, so I only use the tarot cards for you guys to see them, and because I'm reading for 30,000 people.
Right.
So, and I lay what you think. So, and by the way, if you find one that doesn't resonate, it might not be for you, because it might be your rise. You might need to look at your rising sign or your moon.
Yeah.
So, because there's three things that make you up, and that's going part of all of this zodiac stuff. You know, your sun sign's the most important sometimes, but not always. If you're a moon type person, if you're a night person,
Morning, Ted.
your moon might be. Hi, Ted. You might be more of a moon person. Now, I'm a Pisces, so I'm a water sign moon. And I found out a lot about myself recently as a moon sign. The moon signs usually, like, it makes me, like, it just makes me, like, I always feel bad for people. I always feel, and it's part of being a moon, like the Pisces moon.
Yeah.
And you always have to feel like you have to help everybody, like, to the detriment of yourself. And that's part of being an empath too, but it's also a Pisces moon. So, and then I'm a Capricorn rising. Capricorn is an earth sign, so you guys understand that all these signs are playing together. Scorpio's just Scorpio. I got so many Scorpios. They're one way one day and one way the other next day. They're almost like a Gemini. Gemini's like that. But and I want to say that, it's like Cancer. They hold it all in.
Sure.
So that you don't, they try to, but you really can't. You're like underneath, like you're like, all your emotions are a mess inside. You're trying to really hold it together. So Scorpio's like that too. So, so back to the Mercury in retrograde. There's other things that go into retrograde. Venus will go into retrograde. Hi, Ted, you're on Aquarius. I'm going to be having a show coming up here about different signs, because once you really pay attention, they do make sense. Now, everybody knows this. You go on the newspaper, you read it, and it's nothing about you, and you're like, oh, what a bunch of crap,
Right.
Because you have three signs together. So 3 times 12, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of different choices out there. And you have to understand that the combination of that, plus not to mention all your other signs, they sit in certain houses, that I think somebody said, you in your sign, you're 1 in a million. because there's 12 different signs, and then you got your sun, your moon, your rising, all these different signs, and all of them make you in a combination.
Right.
So, so anyway, back to.
Now, let me just jump in.
Sure.
Of course, if you want to get in touch with Lana, how do they do that?
You can visit enchantedsky.com.
With an E.
With an E. I just bought all the domains around me. Because I was afraid so many people I don't want anybody taking my domain. So yes, I did. I just did it. And you can book a reading. I have a brand new website. It's so cool. It's adjusted to all of the places around the world. So what you do is you put the phone number in and hit the country, and it adjusts the time and the phone number and everything for me.
That's fantastic.
So yeah, because I am getting calls all around the world. I've gotten Australia, New Zealand, Germany, Britain.
You, for a reading, your rate is?
It's $60, but right now through October, it's $30 for a master psychic for 30 minutes. Come on, seriously. I guarantee these readings. I mean, seriously.
That's the big thing.
Yeah, I guarantee them.
The reading is guaranteed.
Mm-hmm. Now people are like, how can you do that? Because if I can't connect to a loved one, see, when you call,
their money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Why take your money? Because it's not an even exchange. It's not fair.
Yeah.
So what I do though is when you come in, you sit down for a reading, is I connect to your family. I see your guides. I see your family. And they give me, some of them give me information, but once I feel connected, I can do whatever you need me to do as far as a reading. So,
and on this show, the last 15 minutes, so around 10:15 on this show this morning, punch in, either call us, you'll see the number scrolling along the bottom.
And hopefully we'll have no technical problems because it's Mercury in retrograde.
And or just put it in the chat, either on
put it on
your
chat.
YouTube page that you're watching.
One question, because a lot of times, no offense, but some of you guys try to take like 4 and 5, and I'm like, that's not fair.
But
no.
what about this?
Yeah. So, but I am, like I said, I am cheap. Now, my prices will go back to normal pretty much November 1st.
You're inexpensive.
I'm inexpensive.
You're not cheap. I've seen the automobile you drive. You're not cheap.
Hey, it's not that big a deal. Everybody makes such a big deal. I have a Jeep.
Yeah.
Now, anybody that's on my Facebook too, they'll see the back of my Jeep. You'll understand. You'll kind of chuckle because it's like,
it's great.
Yeah. So anyway, when I'm doing readings, I connect with family members, and I do usually ask you what sign you are, so that way, because it gives me a little snapshot too. And when you come in, my suggestion is always to give me your moon and your ascending sign. Now the thing is with all that, you have to know your exact birth minute. Not within an hour or two.
Okay.
Like I was always told I was emergency cesarean, and I was taken at about 8 o'clock in the morning, and from 7 to 9 it stays the same. So now if I ever found out I was 10, I would be a double Sag, and I'm not. I know I'm Cap.
Friday night around 8 p.m.
Yeah. Oh, are you? Okay. Because I know you kind of after a while start knowing yourself, and people have to understand. I'm a cusp reader on my tarot cards.
Yeah. And
cusps are from the 18th to the 23rd of any month. Now the reading will say like Aries, Taurus, but it'll be for Aries because it's Aries going into Taurus, and that is probably good for you for an Aries. I had somebody yesterday text me and go, why did you mention Taurus in the Aries reading? I said, because you're the sign ahead of it, or behind it, ahead of it, and that you may have Taurus energy, and it's very common to have that. I know that even though I'm the 19th of December, by the way, you guys. So I'm a cusp into Capricorn. Yeah. So yeah, I was 9. Yeah, they had to take me early, or I would have died. I was it was an emergency. So I was supposed to be born in January. So
so when Mercury, why is it important to know when Mercury is in retrograde? It happens 3 times throughout the calendar year.
Yes.
For about 6 weeks each.
Yes.
Why is it important for us?
I make plans. He won't have trouble, and somebody said he won't have trouble because he's a water sign. Yeah, but we did. We were having lots of problems with it. Mercury in retrograde, it's so you can plan. like pre-planned stuff. Like I said, I literally would never sign a mortgage in the middle of Mercury in retrograde. I just wouldn't do it. I know better. It seems like all the paperwork gets messed up. Oh, we screwed it all up. Or, oh, you know what? We lost it. It's gone. I mean, it's stuff like that. And it happens a lot. So I just, like I said, I always like make sure and look around. Like if I have to, as a teacher, we get to choose when they come in to watch us teach. And then they come in one surprise, right? And I would never choose in Mercury in retrograde. I'd be like, no, you're not coming now. No, I'll choose this down 2 weeks down the road. I do that kind of stuff because everybody's like, oh, you're superstitious. No, there's truth to this. You need to really pay attention. That when it's in retrograde, it's just, everything's just, I don't know, it just doesn't work right. You have arguments, fights with people you haven't fought with, but people come back too. It's interesting. So, former loves, former friends out of the clear blue.
These are people. It's not, not ones that have passed.
No.
Just all of a sudden.
Like for instance, let's see, 2 weeks ago, it was the 10th.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 12th. No, it was the 12th. I have a friend I haven't seen in 20 years. And we connected. We haven't even know how idea. And it's not even that we left on bad terms. It was just like we went about our own lives and we changed it. And we reconnected. And it's weird because she's going to come, like, when I come up next time, I'm going to come stay. And it was just weird. And it was kind of cool. I felt like I was 19 years old again. It was really nice. So I was like, that young innocent person that knew nothing in life. That actually, we always had she was an Aries, or no, she's a Leo, and Leos and Sagittarius get along, by the way, really, really well. And didn't even realize all this when I was 19 years old, and I didn't realize I was psychic.
Right.
But I could read her, and she could read me. Like I could tell her, you know what I mean? We were really super connected. And she even says that even now. She was like, "Hi, don't you remember, like, blah, blah, blah." And I said, but she goes, "Now you've got your own show and all this different stuff." And I'm like, I was psychic the whole time. I just didn't realize it. Right. And that's for a lot of people. They don't really realize this. So anyway, your Mercury in retrograde, like I said, you're going to have miscommunication. You're going to have emails, like, just be careful for fighting. Just be really careful for getting in arguments and fights with people that are fairly close to. And you're like, what was that? And you're like, oh, and then everybody, Mercury in retrograde. And then everybody goes, oh, okay. Because even my whole family knows. My whole family knows it's in Mercury in retrograde and to steer clear of everything. They just kind of, It's not like you put your head in the sand, but, it's just a suggestion to kind of keep an eye on everything.
Murphy was born in Mercury retrograde, right? Murphy's Law.
Yeah, Murphy's Law. Oh, yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. So, be careful. There's tons of, I do it. I did it like yesterday, a Freudian slip. I was like, oh, sorry. Or you may take something wrong from somebody. Yeah. So, while I'm thinking about it, next week's going to be ghost stories. We're going to tell ghost stories. And these are true ghost stories. I swear I got pictures. So how we can get them on the screen so people can see the pictures? Yeah. Okay, because I've got tons and tons of them. I'm having a guest. She's a she does cartomancy. She reads the deck of 52.
Okay.
So, and by the way, everybody goes, oh, you know how it's 52 cards and isn't that a coincidence? It's not. 52 cards for 52 weeks for 4 weeks in a month. It all breaks down because it's really a tarot deck. That's where the traditional people said cards are playing. Playing cards is a bad thing. That's where that tradition comes from because they're tarot.
Holding aces and eights is a bad thing.
Yeah, there you go. So actually, aces in a tarot deck is a good thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, but so anyway, so we're in this in the middle. Everybody wants to know how to survive. Don't first of all, do not like bury your head in the sand. Like I said, if you just be aware, and if you can prolong a couple things, you'll be fine.
Yeah, just and understand. Take a deep breath, right? I mean,
Hey,
we're in Mercury retrograde. And that's what's helped me. You told me this 3 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. So with a lot of things that have happened to me, mishaps or whatever, All of a sudden you get in the car and these smart cars and everything are like, hey, your tires are low. You're like, you gotta be kidding, right?
Exactly.
But now I go, okay,
Yeah.
we're-
You're prepared. It's
we're-
Mercury in retrograde.
take a
Exactly.
deep breath, hey, this is fine, it's gonna happen
I know
right
he
now.
mentioned it to me and I laughed because I'm the one that told him about it.
Right.
I'm like, Mercury's in retrograde real soon. And he's like, well, and I'm like, yeah. And then he mentioned it to me and it was just funny. So I'm like, oh, that's what my show's about today. So yeah.
But it does, if you understand that, it doesn't mean that your world's gonna collapse or
no,
bad things
no.
are it's just gonna be that these weird things may occur.
Well, what it all is healing. That's what this is about. It's a time to heal
Okay.
up. It's a time to revisit things, old wounds, time to heal, time to let go, time to, that's why there's miscommunication. You have to be very direct. It forces you to communicate. Now, Scorpio is a water sign. It can be a communicator also. So you have to seek clear intention. You have to completely speak your mind. If you don't, that's how this is happening. See, it's forcing you to communicate. And that's what it's all about, communication. See, all this is communication. If you think about it, that's why it's all messed up. That's why it's forcing you to be clear.
Sure.
Okay, that's what all it is. And Mercury is a planet of communication. So you see also if it retrogrades, it goes backwards, and you're going back. You're going back to like a friend you haven't seen in 20 years, or you're going back to an old boyfriend you haven't seen in 5 years, and you're like, wow, that's wild. Expect it during Mercury in retrograde. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Jen says that when our technology doesn't work properly, the first question we do ask is Mercury in retrograde.
No, not always. You know what else I find? During August, have you ever noticed there's a lot of technology issues in August because of the solar flares?
Yeah.
So not always, but it just seems like it happens more often during Mercury in retrograde. Now, I know there was one in February, and I can't remember. The retrograde in the middle of the year kind of went because everybody's locked up for COVID. So and it happens every 3 to 4 months. So I believe it was in June, July, August, September, October. No, it must have been more like July. So every 3.5 to 4 months. But it just, like I said, it just lets you revisit stuff. And you will. Have you ever? I'm getting a lot of people that are calling me because I get tons of phone calls. I'm really, really busy, and they're going, you know what? I woke up in the middle of the night thinking about when my dog died. I mean, they go and I go because it's Mercury in retrograde. That's what your mind also does. So just remember, be gentle with yourself because, God, was I dumb to date so and so? He really screwed me, and it's because it's Mercury in retrograde. You're supposed to heal it, let it go, and move on. Because what happens is when it goes direct and it looks like it's going the right direction again, it's time to move on and to go do new horizons. Okay, so actually, I use it to your benefit. Okay, use it to your benefit. It's time if you need to set a clear intention with somebody. I really don't like how you're treating me. You need to quit treating me like this. This is enough now. This is the time to do it. Because if it's going to have to be clear and concise, you can't beat around the bush. If you are doing that, then here we go. That you're going to have trouble. It's forcing you to expand your skills, your communication skills. So, like I said, I won't sign paperwork, but if I don't bury myself in the sand, but I do notice that I become more, not forceful, but I need this from you. Okay, now I just got a new website, you guys. Take a look at it and tell me what you think. I got it from a new company, Sky.com.
SKYE.
An E, yes. The one, there's another one without the E and it's for sale and they want way too much money, or I would have bought that domain too. But anyway, back to what I was saying was when we were talking earlier, I was on my website and the everything's screwed up. I mean, I've had to call like 18 times because everything is messed up. And it went right through Mercury in retrograde when they went live with it. So I probably should have maybe waited, but at the same point, I had to get it online. Well, now what I'm doing is I'm just sending her an email and I'm being extremely concise. It's forcing me to not like beat around the bush. And I'm like, okay, I need this done. I need this done. I need this done. And I'm not overwhelming them because I know that it's Mercury in retrograde. So, and then I wait and let them fix it. So it's slowly, so if you see that there's a lot of wordiness on my website right now, that needs to not be there. They've proven that most people don't look at the reading on websites. They just kind of scroll. And so I said, just get rid of it. You know, it's, you know, that kind of thing. So I understand it though. So, okay. Let's see. We've got 5 more minutes. I'm just going to review this with you. So don't do anything unnecessary. If you know you have to do paperwork, you know you have to do something, do it, but be concise. It forces you to think and slow down a little. And I think that's probably the most important thing. This is one thing I don't do during Mercury retrograde is I don't like texting. Because I've gotten into huge fights with very good friends that I don't ever talk to again. And it was all because you've taken it wrong. Because you know how you can read something and you take it a certain way, and they take it a certain way, and you go back and forth and you start arguing. And because, you know, we have, 100 and some different expressions, or there's something like 100 muscles or expressions, and we pick it up on people. But when, you know, you can't see that, when you're reading it, you take it a certain way. So I don't text. I don't do any of that. I'm just, my emails, I mean, I'm even really short with emails. Like I said, I'm really super concise. Bam, 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 done. Because I don't, if you get too wordy, it just causes too much confusion.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to think of what else I've had problems with my TV. During Mercury in retrograde, I've had, lots of different,
Wi-Fi,
like little
can be
different,
spotty,
big time. Had a couple of problems with satellites. I mean, it's just, I don't know what else to say, but so just be careful what you're doing, what you're saying, and don't have to bury your head in the sand. You want to.
And again, it's about communication, right? So when it's about communication, don't sit there and be quiet about it. Reach out.
Yep.
You know, whatever the case may be. I mean, we were a little frustrated this morning and last week, but we were talking through it. We're like, okay, we're going to get through this. We're going to make it work.
Yes.
And we did.
I'm live on 2 screens is what I'm doing, you guys. So yeah. So we figure this out, and you know what? And think about it. Okay, so I sent him an email, right? And I sent him an email to invite him to my Facebook and my YouTube. And we couldn't find it. And we're like, oh no, you should have gotten it. You should have gotten it. And finally he found it. Yep, it was in a spam folder. And he even had checked spam. Well, it's Mercury in retrograde. And that's all you have to do is explain it like that. And then now a month from now, we'll have no trouble. It'll just do everything that it's supposed to do, right? Yeah. And anybody that's really, though, involved in computers, you do get really super frustrated right now.
Sure.
Because it's just nonstop problems with everything. So I think the worst Mercury in retrograde that I've experienced is when it's been in Aquarius. Because Aquarians in Aquarius, when it's in its sign, and a sign like that, they're techie. So it's like a double whammy.
Yeah.
So lucky it's in Scorpio. Now, the funny thing about how this goes, the Mercury in retrogrades, doesn't mean like next month it'll be back in Sagittarius because it was in Scorpio now. It's not like that. I would have to look. I am guessing sometimes it can skip up to 3 signs. So it could be into Pisces even. 3 or 4 signs. Do you see what I'm saying? And it's all in how it sits. So you don't really get that many times where Mercury's in retrograde in your sign. So that's why I said I paid really close attention. It was like about a year and a half it was in Sagittarius. And like I said, I paid attention. I can't remember what it was, but I kept going, wow, this is a great Mercury in retrograde for me. And I can't remember what it was, but it was huge. And I was like, wow, this has been awesome. I'm like, good energy and healing, all that stuff. So, okay. So I'm going to open this up a little early.
Sure.
All right. So anybody got a question for me live? Go ahead and you can live.
And no, the Cubs are not going to win the World Series.
Jackie Fraser. Hi, how are you guys? Oh, I see my husband. I'm okay. My husband must be watching from work. Shh, shouldn't be doing that, Daniel.
Way to call him out.
We're gonna call him out. Guys, got a question? Anybody? Go ahead and you can ask me one question, real quick one. I've been telling Kent he's got some new stuff happening. That was why he said he was, because my reading, if you go on to Cancer, my husband's a Cancer too,
Hey.
and everybody's Cancer. Don't you just have to understand? I should have known you would be. You just got to understand. Everybody, I don't know why. Like my dad, my grandpa, my nephew, my best friend, my husband's best friend, my husband. It's just everybody's a Cancer, and everybody. Well, I'm a Pisces, so that's a water sign too, moon. So I'm guessing that was why. Because I was always told I wasn't compatible with a Cancer because I'm Sag. But see, here we go again. That's the three things put together.
Right.
And I have heavy Pisces. Well, the Jackie Frazier, the second stimulus bill. I said way back in April we'd get 2. And if you scroll back on my Facebook, I said we would get 2 stimulus checks, but I said I didn't think the second one would be as big as the first.
Right.
And I think I'm right as far as me. Depending on what you make, I think that they're going to go off of.
Right.
But yes, I really think that is.
And you were thinking August.
I was thinking August, and I was wrong.
Well,
they got to they said August, and then it got canceled. Yeah. So I still think we're going to. I think that they're going to have to do something. This can't go on like this, and that's just me with my little, how I feel. But anyway, yes, I do feel it.
Nice little surprise, right?
Yep.
Nice little.
Yep. I would say in the next 2 weeks, I really feel like they will.
Yeah.
So, okay. All right. Jen, you know what? Jen, can you talk about the Akashic Records?
Any good books to read on the subject?
You know what? I'm okay. It's on the, how it's on the tip of your tongue? Yes, the one that actually talks about the Akashic Records. It's 2,000 years old, and it's still published. Gosh, what's it called? It's an Indian name.
So the Akashic Records are what?
The Akashic Records are every word and breath you've ever taken. Everything is in the records. You know, like they always say, the book, to see if your name is in the book of life. It's the same thing. It's the same thing as you talk in Christianity. And it's just everything you've ever done, ever said, is in this record, and it's kept track of. It's your past lives. It's where you've been, what you've done, what you've thought. Everything is there. And if somebody's trained, they can open up your Akashic Records for you. I know how to do it. I can tell you your past lives. And people are like, I don't know. I don't believe in that. Well, I don't care. That's fine. You don't have to. I'm convinced the more I get. Oh, and I did tell you I found myself, right, in West Virginia.
Yes.
Okay, we're planking a plan to go find myself, you guys. I know I lived in another lifetime. I know who I was. I gave names and dates and places, and I thought I was crazy. I'm not so crazy because I had past life regression. Now, well, by the way, does Pete want past life regression in the studio?
I do.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We're going to do that, guys. You have to keep watching. I'm going to do past life regression with him. I'm a hypnotist. I'm a certified hypnotist. I'm going to see what his past lives are. I can't talk, lives are. But he is going back to what we had been saying before. We are talking about Akashic Records, and your past lives and all of that are there. You're carrying it with you. You don't even realize. That's why you have any weird fears, and you don't know why. I'm deathly afraid of water, and you don't know why. There's no reason to be. It's because you probably drowned in another lifetime. So you've got like a fear of everything. I know for me, I have a fear of tornadoes because I was in a tornado and died. Because when I was visiting my past lives under hypnosis, I completely saw it. Well, anyway, this thing that I saw, I lived in West Virginia. I think my name was close to what it is now. Because I have this really this bad affinity. You got to call me Lana. Don't call me Lana. It drives me nuts.
I got yelled at.
Yes, he got yelled at. So, but I think my name was Anna. And I think that that's why. So now I'm Lana. So I don't know. All I know is I looked up all this stuff. I had a friend that researched it, and she was finding stuff that were completely accurate what I was saying. So and like I said, we're gonna do the past life regression here pretty soon. So anybody else got any questions?
The esoteric Buddhism, is that was back in
No,
1884.
it's.
I was just trying to Google and look
Yeah,
it
I
up.
know. No, it's on the. You know, it's on the tip of your tongue, but it's in Indian. It's in. Um. It's all about this though, and Buddhism because now, because they believe in all of this, like I said, before. I'll have to look that up, Jen. But I'm telling you, it's
The Book of Life, no?
have a look. It's like I've got a copy, and I'm like, it's just I hate when I do that. But it's in Indian, so that's why I'm having a hard time recalling it. But yeah, if you said it, I'd get it. But it's okay. Yeah. Anyway, hey guys, got any other questions? Well,
Nothing. Yeah. So when it comes to reading those Akashic records, am I able to just do that?
Well, you know what? If somebody doesn't want you to, you can't do it. You have to somebody has to let you open them up for you. And some people that you can be trained in it. I wasn't necessarily trained in it, but I can because I understand how it works. And it's a trust issue. It's the same thing for hypnosis.
Yeah, I mean,
If you don't trust the hypnotist, I cannot put you under hypnosis.
So it's not just like going out and getting a book, a how-to book.
No, actually, no. It's like, yeah, you know what? It's part of a spiritual awakening, you know, that you're able to do it. So, Valerie has a question. I keep losing. I don't like this on my iPad at all, you guys. I'm on my iPad right now. Is there a spiritual meaning to your ear ringing sounds? Valerie, here's my question. Valerie, when does it happen? Okay. Katie, I'll get to you next. When does it happen? Is it happening at a certain time of day or does it happen all the time? I mean, seriously, it could be tinnitus. But if it's happening, I know that I can feel an air pressure change when there's something in the room. Like I can tell or I can feel it. I can see it. You'll see me look around too. Now I have a tendency when I'm reading too, and this is something that they noticed. I used to read on a radio station, guys, and I do this all the time. And they go, that's what they just see. They said, oh yeah, it's like you're looking on the other side or something. I'm like, yeah, I guess so. I mean, but I do. So for you, it could be that you're picking up beings. You could be doing, but it depends on when. Okay, all right.
My daughter, Ashley, is starting a new business. Is that going to go well?
If she carries it through. I feel like she might lose interest in a year or more.
Stay with it.
She'd stay with it. Okay. If she doesn't, it will not succeed. It will be done. I feel like she's just, I don't know. I feel like she might move on to something else. What is it the business in?
She's making jewelry, clay earrings, and part of the proceeds are donated to kids with mental health issues.
She's going to expand that somehow. It's going to change. It's going to evolve somehow. It's almost going to become something else, but not necessarily in a whole lot of different field.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. It's going to, I don't know. It's just going to go through a transition. Okay.
Interesting.
Okay. Katie says, I was told I was in my past life, I was a male palm reader. You actually, I think you're a gypsy. I don't know why I get that. You're like a gypsy. And actually, Valerie says her ears are ringing all the time. Valerie, did you go through this? Has this been like very awakening for you area? If it's ringing all the time, it can be make a medical problem. It's hard to tell sometimes when you're going through an awakening if it's medical or spiritual because there's so a fine line there, you know. So I would have it checked out and I was told I have a gypsy soul a lot. Yeah, it's true. I think you are. I really do. And people don't realize that gypsies and stuff like that. When I've done a lot of reading, there were a lot of people out there that did that kind of stuff. I did not realize there were gypsy Jews because it's in my bloodline, and I did not know. When I started doing searching, and then I did some past life regression, like ancestral stuff, because you do carry memories of your ancestors, and yeah, and sometimes you gotta like let go of it and heal it. And I have a little bit of Jewish, just a little bit in my bloodline, and they were gypsy Jews in like Romania or something, and I didn't know. And when I looked it up on the internet, it's true, there is. So that kind of thing. And that's when you really know for sure that you're not making it up, because you're looking it up and you're like, oh my God, I found it. I'm like, I had no idea. So okay. Next question. Here we go. Different pressures and tones. Valerie, okay, I'm going to get back to you, Valerie. I think maybe have your ears checked just to make sure you're okay. That you might be picking up like the other dimensions. You might be, because there's pressures that, you know what I'm saying? I can walk in a room and say and feel it, like and hear it. Because I'm auditory, I'm clairaudient. Well, I'm clairvoyant too, but I'm mostly audient. And I can hear things. Like I'll hear like a sound, and I'll be like, well, what is that? I'm like, there's something here. You can't hear the buzz. And be like, really? You can't hear that? I'm like, I can't understand why you can't. Okay, but I will tell you something. If you come to me, like Enchanted Sky, and you tape me, you'll hear stuff on the phone.
Is that right?
You can sometimes. I've had it happen where they've heard, like, you've heard it, like, what I'm hearing is on the phone. It got recorded. So, okay. Let's see, what else we got? Live chat. Let's see.
And of course, if
The doctors didn't find anything, Valerie. You may be going through an awakening. I know. Okay, Valerie, look up the symptoms of awakening. An awakening, sometimes it can be in the ears. Like a buzz, a vibration that doesn't want to go away, because you're growing as a person and you're spiritually. It's like, okay, you're down here and that's your vibration. All of a sudden your vibration went up. So it might be that too. So I'd have to really sit and talk with you, because then I could probably help you figure that all out. So, but from what I saw, it could be either. Okay. All right. I had somebody else that was asking me another question. The eviction moratorium be extended? Yes, by 3 months.
There you go.
How's that? Okay. I don't see, and when you guys you will see me when I look up, or I look like a certain way, and I'm channeling it, and they're telling me to tell you that. I have a guide. He's a Native American guy, and his name Dances in the Wind. And then I have another one named kind of like a red cloud, red something. I can never get what he's saying. And then I've got a bunch of family members. I got quite a few. Yeah. So, what other questions we got?
Is there a move in my life?
You thought about moving jobs?
No. Well, yeah, actually.
That's what you're doing.
Yes and no.
You have. I want to say though, it's almost parallel, but it's like maybe a different company, maybe a different place. It's about the same, but you're happier for some reason. It feels like, is it possibly closer to home, or why are you laughing?
I'll tell you out there.
Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Very interesting.
Oh, okay.
Very
Thank you.
interesting.
Okay. See, yeah, I just I know when people and you have to remember, I've done 25,000 readings and I'm really fast. So people are. I used to read on the phone in Britain online, and they give you 10 minutes, and you're trying to get the information to them as fast as you can. So I talk really fast, and I give it off the top of my head. And actually, if you know me well, you'll know that when I say something off the top of my head, that it's right.
Listen.
That you better listen.
Yeah.
Okay, for instance, I had a person that they have Alzheimer's, and it really upset me. I'm 53 and they're 55, and I did tell him that I know there's a medicine coming out that's going to help a lot for him. And I did the same thing for my daughter. I told her about 5 years ago she was going to be on a new medicine because she has Crohn's, and she's been on Stellara, and she's like got no symptoms. She's so much better on the Stellara. So, and I was right, and it came out, and I just, like I said, I still think the Merck is going to be the company that comes out with a vaccine, and that we're going to start going back to normal at the end of January, very slowly, as we start getting vaccines. I'm not a big vaxxer, but I'm going to get one.
Yeah, quote unquote normal.
Valerie, okay, financial future. That's kind of a really super broad subject. Like, yeah, okay, I gotta explain this to you guys. Be kind of specific. Here, wait, Mercury's in retrograde. Be specific, okay?
Right.
It's hard to say, like, when you just give me a general thing like that. If I were doing a reading, it'd be a different thing because I'm just on you. But I've right now got about 2,000 people around me. So it's hard for me to, it had to be real specific because then I can go do that. I do feel like, I don't know if, Valerie, you're going to switch jobs or get an extra job, but there's your income's going to increase, not by a lot, but enough to make you a little more comfortable. Okay, and I don't know any of what that means, so I just repeated it. Okay, but it's hard when you guys be really, really, really precise. Like, I have a new boyfriend, and I want to know if he is the one I'm supposed to marry. His name is. See that? Then I can zone in on it. Okay. Let's see what else we get. Live chat. Do I believe what I have is a gift? Jackie, yes, I do. I believe that I take my ability very, very seriously,
Yes.
and I'm very, very responsible with it. Some people, like, yeah, okay, for yesterday, I did a party, I did a Halloween party, and there was about 10 people there. And somebody said something, Vish said, well, some psychic said something really super negative that the people on the other side were mad at me because, no. One, you're in heaven, you're not mad about anything.
Right.
Two, that's negative. If I have something negative to say to you, I'm very gentle the way I say it because I have a lot of power. Do you know what I'm saying? And I understand that. And so that's why I said I'm very responsible with it. And I think most, I would say 90% of us are all very responsible, but there's a 10% that give us a bad name. With the, you have a spell on you and I can, for $1,000, cast it out of you. You better run the other way. I'm a little different. I have a background in psychology too. So I'm very, you're basically coming to a therapist when you come to me because that's what I do, because I'm a healer too. Yeah. I make you feel better and I listen. And it ain't going anywhere. And by the way, when I walk out of here, I can't remember a thing I say because I'm channeled it all. So I literally will not remember what I've said. I just picked something up. I'm going to talk to you later. I just picked up somebody watching that. You want to talk about somebody coming back in your life? Yeah, somebody's watching. I'll talk to you later. I'm mad at them right now. So they're watching right now. I know they are. I know. I'm 95% sure they're watching right now. He know. Yeah. Welcome to 216 the net. And he's been kind of jerky lately, and I've been upset with him. So yeah. So anyway, he knows who he is.
But thanks for watching. We appreciate it.
That's right.
Follow
That's
us
right.
on Facebook and YouTube.
Oh, okay, Valerie. Yeah, sex. I just gave you your reading for you. Okay. Dies it last for a year? I don't. Does it last? Oh, does it last for a year? Oh, okay, I get it. She typed it. Okay. What is it? Oh, is twin telepathy real? You better believe it.
Right.
That's who I was talking about.
Yeah.
Yes, there's telepathy between twin flames. Yes, that's
why
a whole other show.
That's why you know. Well, that music means we're wrapping up this episode of Metaphysical Meanderings. Hang in there. Mercury's in retrograde until November?
Yep, the 3rd.
The 3rd. Oh my gosh. Do yourself a favor. Get out and vote.
Yes.
And follow, subscribe to Enchanted Sky out there on YouTube, also on Facebook, and do the same for 216 The Net on YouTube and Facebook. We'd appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week when we do some ghost stories, because it will be Halloween. For our good friend and master psychic, Lana Duncan Hargraves. I'm Ken Jones. This has been 216 The Net and Metaphysical Meanderings.